Hello, everyone. Hi, Maya.
Hey, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us, Maya, اليوم. We can see that we have around 26 participants now joining us. Thank you again, Nick, you are joining us after this talk was postponed من last week. كنا على أساس it is planned to be done last Friday بس بسبب الأوضاع اللي صارت اضطرينا إنه نكون عم نأجلها لهذا الأسبوع. وكان في كتير أشخاص registered to attend this talk وكانوا كتير محمسين كرمال to get inspired from you, Maya, ويكونوا عم بيعرفوا أكتر about your story و about the work that you are doing وكيف كيف قدرتي تكون عم تحقق كل هيدي الإنجازات. بس unfortunately بسبب الكهرباء وبسبب الإنترنت we are receiving last minute messages from participants عم بيقولوا لنا انه ما قادرين يحضروا السيشن بسبب الكهرباء وبسبب الانترنت and they will be attending they will be watching the recording later on. Maya, I'm gonna start by briefly introducing the YLP because I can see that we have participants who are not YLPers. فحبلش بيعرف عن البروجرام على السريع and then I will introduce you and the floor will be yours. بداية ال YLP هي program, the Youth Leadership Program, برنامج القيادات الشابة under the umbrella of UNDP, works on empowering ومساعدة الشباب والصبايا إنه يطلعوا بالأفكار اللي يقدروا يكونوا عم بينموها وياخذوا السكيلز اللي مطلوبة ليطلعوا هن بأفكار يقدروا يحسنوا بالمجتمع فيها ويقدروا يكونوا عم بيطوروا ويحلوا مشاكل بالمجتمعات اللي هن موجودين فيها. وهيدي الأفكار فيها تكون من خلال either businesses أو startup أو من خلال community projects و NGO ideas. وهيدي السنة كان في عنا عدد كتير منيح من البروجكتس اللي هن they are working on NGOs و they are working on community building وحابين انه يكونوا عم بيفيدوا المجتمع من خلال مشاريع غير انه مشاريع like NGOs يكونوا عم بيفيدوا المجتمع فيها و at the same time linking it للأهداف التنمية المستدامة ال SDGs. As part of YLP هيدي السنة كان في عنا 800 participant joining YLP ورجعوا join the partners كرمال يكونوا عم ياخدوا التريننج to start working on their projects. ولاحظنا بسبب المشاكل اللي صارت آخر فترة إنه they need more inspiration وحابين كانوا يحكوا يكونوا مع expert from the field اللي هن كانوا عم بيشتغلوا على real projects وأشخاص حتى بلشوا بأعمار يمكن قدهم وقدروا يوصلوا ل انجازات ويحققوا كثير امباكت بالكوميونيتيز اللي هن عم بيشتغلوا فيها. ففور ذس ريزن اطلقنا ال YLP Lebanon Talks واكيد ما فينا نكون نحن عم نحكي عن الكوميونتي بيلدينج وعن الفولنتيرنج وعن الامباكت بالمجتمع بدون ما نكون عم نحكي عن FoodBlessed ونكون عم نحكي عنك مايا. مايا you are a role model بكل شيء related للكوميونتي بيلدينج للفولنتيرنج ورك لكل شيء خاصه بالمجتمع وكيف نقدر نحن نكون عم نعمل امباكت بالمجتمع ونشتغل على الكوميونيتيز. You started FoodBlessed بال 2012. I guess هلا اشهر من انه اكون عم بعرف عنها which is an NGO that helps to reduce الفود waste يلي موجود ونكون هذا الفود at the same time supporting people in need من خلاله. ومن 2012 لهلا كنت قادره انكم تكونوا عم بتساعدوا بتامين اكثر من 3 مليون وجبه غذائيه واللي هو رقم كثير كبير. واكيد in order to make this كان في الاف او hundreds يعني مئات والاف الفولنتيرز عم بيشتغلوا معكم.
Thousands by the way. صاروا over 5,000 in 9 years.
اكثر من 5,000 فولنتير عم بيشتغلوا معي كرمال
in 9 years
to make this impact. So ما فينا يعني نكون عم نحكي عن الكوميونتي وعن this volunteering work without having you, Maya. The floor is yours to tell us more about your journey with FoodBlessed, your journey in general in community building, and how you were able to get all of these volunteers and to manage all of this number and to create this impact. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So
مايا قبل ما تبلش مايا بس بدي رحب بالجميع وبدي اقول thank you so much هاني for this beautiful introduction. ومايا thank you so much for being with us. مثل ما قال هاني تأجلت التوك بس كتير ناس أصروا إنه دايما نكون عم نعرف أكتر وأكتر عن community building. So the floor is yours. Fire and yeah.
All right. You can see presentation صح؟
Yes, I can see your screen.
Alright,
Yeah.
أول slide شايفينه هلا صح؟ Okay. So أنا basically I don't know yes I love talking about FoodBlessed بس لأنه هول talks لاحظت they're focusing somehow على الcrisis. So I entitled my presentation for today Leadership in Times of Crisis. Yes, it is a bit different from leadership in normal situations, but Lebanon فينا نقول is a country of ongoing crisis. يعني for me, I consider I've been leading in crisis mode since 2012 in the absence of government support, in the absence of infrastructure, of a functional country, and you feel like into crisis mode. You never know what's tomorrow hides for you. Lately, Lebanon has reached its like emergency top crisis level. فهلا more than ever مش بس أنا لأنه I work in the field of hunger and food waste. I think everybody is feeling the crisis mode, and a lot of people are physically and mentally drained. So this PowerPoint, although فيك تقول catered to leaders, but I believe everyone is a leader. It's just a matter of time before they discover that leadership in them. So I start the presentation by saying, what is a crisis? So at some point in our lives, كلنا رح نقطع بالcrisis. Crisis could be something that's major and public, or it could be something that's private or contained. For example, إذا أخذنا COVID-19, it's a global crisis. The pandemic has stood out as a situation that's been experienced by everyone globally and has been labeled in many countries as a health crisis. It's been affecting millions of lives on a daily basis, and the decisions that are being made every day, especially by leaders, in many cases determine whether someone will live or die. So very important decisions. إذا بناخد example Lebanon, I call Lebanon has an existential crisis going on. مش عارف am I a country, am I not a country, will I be a country tomorrow ولا لا. So أنا سميت existential crisis. In contrast to a normal person who also faces crisis, a leader's crisis might not only affect them, but also the group of people they are leading together mount towards a common goal. I think that's the difference probably. The other نرجع على ثاني slide. So when a crisis strikes, people tend to respond in different ways. Some respond instinctively. So مرة عملت أنا من المرات العديدة اللي عملت فيها حوادث سيارات إنه آخر شيء صرت عرفت إنه it is kind of a crisis. فتت بحدا شو بدك تعمل. I know directly what to do. The person اللي فتت فيها بلشت تبكي فزعت ما عرفت شو تعمل. So some people will أو صارت تصرخ وتعيط وتقول لي مجنونة ما بتعرفي تسوقي. هولي someone acting instinctively. هولي initial impulses بس بيكون في crisis إنه we act instinctively. Sometimes they are not productive, sometimes they are counterproductive. Other people react in a freezing response. خلص they freeze in place, they do nothing and hope that it just goes away. But as we know, it won't go away if we just wish it would go away. And more often than not, if we leave a potentially manageable crisis unresolved, it will eventually turn out into a full-blown disaster. كنا بكرايسيس صغيرة صرنا بديزاستر ما بتفهم. So yes, to this end, a leader has to act quickly, but to do so they need to do it in a rational way. بدنا نفكر اوكي مش انه الكرايسيس صارت لا انا ما كنت حاسس في كرايسيس. أنا in my life I always feel إنه crisis mode. حتى لو it's sunny وما بعرف شو بقول لك يمكن أتشتت شو بعرفني. I just هيك صرنا من ورا لبنان. We have to expect the worst even if everything feels good. And usually I'm right. Nothing goes according to plans, and the worst does happen, but we are prepared. So yes, you have to be rational, but as opposed to most نصايح بيقولوا don't follow your gut feeling. I say do follow your gut feeling. It's very important. I followed it a lot, especially when it comes to people that I feel not comfortable working with, or I feel that our collaboration or partnership and it doesn't have a common agenda or a purpose. فببتعد, and that's his gut feeling لأنه sometimes هيك في ناس ما بترتاحوا لها, and from my experience it works يعني it's مش عبث. But avoid gut feelings that tell you to start waving your hands or to ignore what's going on. هول تبع الهلع والفزع والتعصيب والعيط, تجنبوهم قد ما فيكم. بعرف it's an instinct that we act, the fight or flight. I'd say flight if is necessarily you have to تهربوا من situation, but I would say fight. But when you fight, choose your battle. أهم شيء, there are so many battles in your life. My most given advice is always choose your battles. Choose the ones that you might not win, but at least trying is half the battle. And know that هاي الباتل انتم فايتين فيها عارفين شو عم تعملوا فيها, مش بس انه we want to fight لانه we want to fight. And have an amazing team. It would make the battle so much more worth it. So this is about the crisis start. So since the start of COVID, crisis leadership هلا كterm is rapidly getting attention من الكل. وهيدا attention is understandable لأنه crisis situations ask for crisis leadership. There are so many types of leaders, وهلا كثير عالم عم يحكوا عن شيء اسمه a crisis leader, or a leader that works under a crisis situation. And it could be a CEO, a manager, a president, and I manage an organization, so I manage a group of people. So yeah, crisis affects not only me, but also my group, and also sometimes I have personal crises. These affect my performance and my team and my organization. So I have to focus on not much is said about internal crises, mental health, which is super important. It does affect our performance, it does affect our efficiency, and it should not be taken lightly. يعني مش نقول إنه كل شيء منيح بس أنا حاسة إنه mentally ماني منيحة ما بأثر. No, it's very important. And if what you're doing is affecting your mental health in a really bad way, or the people you're around you are toxic to you, cut these relationships. You don't have to go through this. Yes, sometimes it's for the bigger good, but make sure you are able to also be there for yourself. So if we look at the information available on the internet, بنلاحظ إنه it's hard to find مثل ما بقولوا الforest from the trees. So much to look at what is the best way to lead under a crisis. What does it take to be a leader, a crisis leader? Example مثلا if you do like a Google search بيعطوكم هول مثلا terms like stop project ruthlessly, shift resources, find the off switch for anxiety and stress, create buffers in time and space, hit pause button. So many things, and where to start with. أنا هلا I have a crisis, I want to lead it, and I want to know شو major things I need to focus on. So there's so much to pay attention to. So what do you exactly look for when you're leading under a crisis? What I'm trying to say here, and whatever the circumstances, like the crisis is always a time of intense difficulty, stress, and complexity. So there's no one perfect way to remedy the problem, no easy pathway. But here I am sharing with you at least what I found to work, and also backed up by research that I found on the internet by experts in the field. And these are tricks and like tips. And as I always say, every person's journey is special. And one thing that works for someone doesn't necessarily have to work for others. But choose the things that work for you and apply them. So to tackle a crisis, رح بلش بالsummary of it. What is the summary to tackle a crisis. أول شيء you have to create flexible plans. For me, plan B is never enough. I have plan C, D, sometimes E and F. والله لهالدرجة لأنه لبنان. For this presentation alone, I have my laptop on standby. I'm using my husband's laptop لأنه his battery is full, mine is not full. I have my phone standby and 3G standby and my other phone كمان in case everything else ما مشى. So this is just for one presentation Zoom. يعني some people take it for granted بدوروا اللابتوب بقلبهم presentation يعطيكم العافية. بس نحن in Lebanon you have to think of a million things. شو لو رحت الكهرباء؟ شو لو انقطع الانترنت؟ شو لو انطفى اللابتوب؟ blah blah blah. إنه eventually you have plan A, B, C, D, E. You need to communicate clearly. And if you have a team, know that you're not going through this crisis alone. If you want to find a solution, you need your team with you. And your team has to know what's your plan and able to help you execute it the way you see fit. But also for them to give feedback as well. So communication is not one way, you telling your team what to do, it's two way. You telling them and they giving feedback or even suggesting other ways, which best feedback to the ways that you are suggesting to them. Leading with compassion, something I found very, very important, whether leading an organization or a group of volunteers or just being there for people in need. Compassion is so important. Kindness, not much is talking about, but, you know, some people think, oh, compassion makes you weak. Not at all. Compassion is a strength, and it helps you to communicate better with your team, to understand them better, and also with your beneficiaries, to know what their exact needs are so you can cater to those needs. Sometimes we know what's better for the people we are aiming to help. Our parents think they know what's best for us, but that's not the case. Always, most of the time, to be honest. For them, what they think is best for us is not always what we think is best for us. So it's important to listen, and compassion is a great tool in order to achieve active listening. And manage the post-crisis new normal. I'll tell you what that means in a sec. So نرجع أول point, which is about being ready, planning. Quick action that is important in the face of crisis. لأنه ما معكم هالقد وقت to plan. And it's not like I am إنه okay بعد جمعة رح يصير crisis جماعة معنا 7 أيام to plan. Crisis happens. It's there and you're here and you have to find something, come up with a solution. So quick action is important because it keeps a crisis from escalating into a disaster. Now, already crisis is here. My job as a leader is how to prevent it from escalating to become a disaster. هلا بلبنان, we all saw that every crisis, sadly, unfortunately, but ends up as a disaster. That's Lebanon. So بصير نحن مثلا as a leader, my job is how to خفف من impact of this disaster على my community, على people that are in Lebanon's crisis. We started disaster, and people هلا more than 75% of the population is living under poverty line, يعني facing hunger. This is a major disaster. عم تحكوا أكثر من 75% من المجتمع ما في ياكل. So how do I act in face of such a disaster? بعرف إنه ما في طعميهم كلهم، ما في وقف الجوع، بس one logical way of going forward is كيف يخفف من عدد الأشخاص اللي عم بيجوعوا أو عم بيموتوا من الجوع أو عم بيناموا على معدة فاضية. Another thing, although نحن وقت تصير الكرايسيس ما عندنا الانفورميشن اللي بدنا إياهم أو اللي عايزينهم resources, it's still important to act quickly and deliberately with what we have. شو عنا هلا، شو قادرين نحن، شو في عنا من قبل قطعنا بشيء مماثل وكبار. بلبنان يعني صار عنا خبرة بالكرايسيس مانجمنت I guess، مع انه انا on individual level or organization level، بس اكيد not on a governmental sadly level، لانه كل كرايسيس بصير ما عرفنا كان في مفاجأة، ما عرفنا الدولار رح يطلع. هيك funny, it's a joke basically at sometimes, how come يعني كل شيء they have analysis and things like that, وبس تصير crisis, oh we have no idea. So you know, working with your team is so important to assess the situation. يعني we gather input. يعني لما صار انفجار بيروت، اوكي في كثير جمعيات نزلوا على الشارع تاني نهار وبلشوا يوزعوا اكل على الشمال ويمين. FoodBlessed didn't do that لانه even though there was an emergency and a crisis happening, we wanted to act in a rational way and we wanted to gather أول شيء data and input. هيدا الأكل اللي كان عم بيروح we got information, half of it was عم بيروح كب لأنه ما كان في حدا عم بياخده. في volunteers أكلوا 3 و4 مرات بطل فيهم ياكلوا, and the people who actually need that food were not even in Beirut or somewhere برات بيروت need that food but ما في access لإلهم, no one knows where they were. So for us, we had to do a plan, even though a quick one. We had to نجمع data, collect information, people بحاجة وينهم, أرقامهم, locations, how many meals رح نطبخ كل يوم. Eventually فتحنا our community kitchen بعد 4 أيام, and we were cooking 600 to 900 meals every day, Monday to Sunday. وما نزلنا على محل. We worked with other NGOs as well to support what they do, and also people who were not supported by any form of NGO. That was our immediate plan. So yes, it was not immediate بوقتها, but it was immediate in the bigger picture of what's happening in the crisis form. It was a planned immediate action. So working with the team was so important because my team was my way of getting access to the information that I needed. Also, a lot of people in the crisis ما بيعرفوا, there are leaders. I mean, في 3 ways يعني of dealing with things, and you don't have to fix on one way. One way is working alongside your team, تشتغل معه. يعني بنزل أنا كمان باخد data, بنزل أنا بكنس طرق, بنزل معهم بشوف الوضع بقيمه أنا as a leader لأقدر آخد better choices. I can also choose to monitor. في انزل وما أعمل في monitor, because for me it's very important to monitor and to see what's happening, the big picture. Yes, we are all part of what's happening, but someone has to go and see the big picture and see what's missing, what's working, what's not working. And also as a leader, you have to continuously adjust and monitor and reformulate your plan. كل ما يجي new information, okay, هاي new information شو فينا نعمل مثلا, and you have to be ready and willing to pivot, to تغيروا اتجاهات. اوكي هاي ما مشيت دغري plan B ما مشيت, عندي plan C. So many times يعني مثلا في حدا بده يودي الاكل ما اجى, بطل عن الحادث ما قادر يجي, وفي اكل بالمطبخ عم تحكوا 300 وجبه مش عارفين شو بدنا نعمل. بس لا, نحن we were prepared, عرفنا it might happen. So we had plan B, we had other NGOs, we had numbers, we had volunteers with cars. مهم انه الاكل ما يبقى, لانه بس يبقى اكثر من لازم حينكب. So all of this was planned, even though the crisis happened, but we planned for the worst. And then أهم شيء is preparing for the inevitable, which is sometimes you have to take 1 step forward, 2 step backs, setback. يعني sometimes even if you plan كل شيء وبيكون عندكم plan A B C D E و F, بيبين إنه بدكم كان plan G وأنتم ما عندكم إياها. So yes, even though you feel إنه you got it all planned out, definitely at one point there will be something that will not go according to any of your plans. So be prepared for that. Don't panic. Communicate often and early. As I said, during crisis بيكون في كتير ضجة حواليك, كله عم بيصير يحكوا له بدك مساعدة, كل ربعين لمين تسمع, كيف بتسمع. So make sure that your team understands إنه the day-to-day what they need to do and why. What does that mean? It means يعني شوفوا التيم شو عم بيسمع, خدوا رأيه. Again, عم بحكي دايما in the form of teams. I know most of leaders didn't start as a team. Maybe it was them alone. I started with a team of 2, and then they left, and then I managed FoodBlessed for 2 years maybe لحالي, and okay, I didn't have a team, but I took other people that I trusted opinion تبعهم. So a team doesn't have to be a group of people always with you, but in a team it could be your friends who you appreciate their opinion. Someone هيدا second opinion that sometimes you want to hear from someone. Either نأكد الفكرة اللي احنا already براسنا أو قلنا لحظة لا معك حق أنا ما شفتها من هالناحية. Having a mentor is very important as well. So if you have the chance to have a mentor, go for it. So when we say talk to your team and make sure that they مثلا your voice is not an extra noise عليهم in the midst of all the noises that are going there. So I mean, try to have an answer at least for their questions, and if you don't, be honest. Having honest communication. So if you don't have an answer, say I don't have an answer, but I'll try to work on one, or let's work on one together. When delivering difficult news, be direct and honest as well. So if nothing is working, just say nothing is working now, or nothing new is happening at the moment. بعدنا محلنا normal. When progress is made, even if it's minor, come and share that so that people don't feel despair. يعني any victory or small victories is a victory, يعني regardless of حجمه. Communications also, as I mentioned, should be two-way. يعني listen to what your team is saying, and also what you're saying to them, but also listen to what your team is not saying. So sometimes, and it's a cultural thing بلبنان, people you ask for advice or تكون عم تقولوا لهم your opinion or your idea will be, oh yeah, it's a great idea وما بعرف شو, but maybe that's not exactly what they want to say, and you can feel that from their expressions, or ما بعرف, you might know that لا, maybe they're actually saying something but they feel something else. So you have to listen to what they're saying but also not saying. Informations and insights that your team has or is hiding might be very important. So make sure that everyone knows that they are going to be heard, even if their opinion is something that contradicts with yours, or their ideas are different from yours. Make them feel that it's welcomed anyway, which is difficult in Lebanon. If you have a different opinion from the person that is giving the talk or whatever, or leading the team, but here you're either like casted away or considered a rebel وبتعمل اللي براسها وما بتسمع لحدا. I mean, okay, maybe, but again, have they given you the chance to express their opinion? بس حدا يجاوبك أو يجاوبك okay أنت بتعمل اللي براسك, بس did you really listen to my idea, or can you tell me why my idea wouldn't work? This is very important. بلبنان بقول لك it doesn't work, بتقول لهم why, because I said so. بلبنان because I said so is a is an argument. فأنا for me it's not. You have to convince me why you think what I'm saying is not gonna work, and how you think you can make it work. Do you have extra input other than إنه لا ما رح تمشي موية? It's important. Next slide is lead with compassion, which is one of my favorite slides. For your team to preserve through times of pressure and uncertainty, it's very important that you exhibit compassion, that they see how compassionate you are, how for them also to be compassionate with each other. Again, compassion is not a weakness, it is a strength, and crisis is at all not a time to move away from kindness and caring. Even if your brains want you to be like, this is not the time to be kind, we have to be think rationally, there's no room for the heart, only the mind. That's not true. You can balance. I have to face, well, my team and we have to face very difficult decisions every day. لما حدا يجي لعندك ويقول لك أنا جوعان بدي مساعدة. And so many times بيكون نحن إنه ما بقى فينا. أنا sometimes ما بقى فيي لأنه so much pressure. Like no matter what we do, there's always gonna be someone who is in need. Like how do you tackle this issue? How do you address it? So we try as much as we can to be compassionate, to be understanding, to be respectful. I even have 2 volunteers, بشنو تحية طارق وتيانا. Their job is just all about compassion. شغلتهم بس إذا إجا حدا who is asking for help, they will manage that person and they will be the most compassionate persons ever. And we try as much as we can to say yes to everyone. Yani, sometimes we want to say no, but I mean, we are, like I said, honest. So if we can't help someone, we say we can't help. We don't give big promises. And this is very hard to say no to someone in need, but you have to sometimes. And it doesn't mean you don't have compassion, but actually you have so much compassion to the extent that you are not going to lie to this person because you know you're not able to help them. But we do, as I said, I mean, 99% of the people that come to us receive help. Very rarely حدا is not provided with the assistance they need. If any assistance that we cannot provide, also now we focus on food, but we have people asking for medicines, for rent, for other stuff. We also try to help them through us or through other individuals or organizations. Third point, one thing that a coronavirus pandemic has shown us is that in a crisis, it's not just something that COVID affects our health. It does affect us mentally, emotionally, not just physically. And we have to take care of all of these things, especially when it comes to a team that's managing a crisis. We have to take care of their emotional well-being and mental well-being. We as a team, as FoodBlessed, we always try to take breaks. We go hiking, we go to nature, camping. It's very important, Wally. I know everything is chaos والدنيا قايمة قاعدة والعالم هيدا, but every couple of months نعمل هالشيء. It's good for the morale of our team. It's good for our mental health because as everyone or most people will tell you, you need to be in a good health. You need to have good health in order to help others. So for me, each day, or for my team, we weigh our priorities and our decisions. We take, like I personally take the needs of my team and our beneficiaries into consideration, and it's a day-to-day decision. مش إنه هالجمعة رح نعطي 100 بالذات بنقول 100 بس بنعطي 200 لأنه إجوا 100 ما بعرف special cases. So this is also leading with compassion, but also being flexible. And yeah, actually, point I already mentioned it. It's very important. Burnout. Our team has been through a lot, and we have been through burnouts. بطل حدا يطيق حدا أنا صار إذا حدا بيقول لي مرحبا بدمع وببكي. I have severe anxiety, so it's very important to always have a plan when you have burnout, or at least the best plan is to avoid burnouts altogether on a personal and professional level in your team. Importance of building a community, I guess Hani Alkun, why he focuses on community, because FoodBlessed is community-based and volunteer-driven organization, which means everyone be FoodBlessed is a volunteer. And by community-based, we mean we don't have a major funder like a personality, famous or a politician or an agenda or a political agenda or even a religious mission. Our mission is just to help people in need across Lebanon, and we focus on hunger and also an environmental mission, which is to reduce food waste, but also by reducing food waste, we're also helping more people in need get the meals they need. So a community is a group of like-minded people or a network of individuals, and as it's written, partner organization dedicated to improving the health and welfare of the community. For FoodBlessed, it started as an idea and then it turned to our organization. But Hala, FoodBlessed is a community, at least in my opinion. 9 years of food blessing has created this community of hunger heroes. So for us, this t-shirt is not just a t-shirt we wear when we're volunteering. It's our identity, and HH stands for Hunger Heroes. So FoodBlessed is now a community, and now when I walk the street or whenever my volunteers walk the street, they see this, they know, oh, that how بيطعموا الفقراء, or oh, how the heroes تبع FoodBlessed اللي بيعملوا حصص. And this is the best feeling ever, when you achieve this sense of community, or when you thank a volunteer at the end of the day, and instead of you thanking them, they say, no, thank you for giving us the opportunity to give back to our community. So this is very important in crisis or no crisis, to have this community feel, to bring the community together towards one mission or purpose. It is empowering. Your impact is bigger when you work in a community-based style of leadership. You bring hope, and you empower individuals by giving them the opportunity to give back to their community, but also you elicit hope. Your community as a whole flourishes. لأنه finding people who are like-minded is very important for each individual, because it helps them build confidence, builds character, it raises morale, improves mental health. Volunteering is so important, and one way of how one can lead community-based initiative or organization is through community engagement, and that's volunteering and community service. That's about the building a community slide. How is building community of like-minded individuals? How do I do that? Because you're like, okay, she's talking about community of what's, how they actually achieve that. Couple of pieces of advice. Try and trust will move mountains. So try to create a sense of trust with your community members, with your team, because you will start as 3 people, and then 5, and then your group will increase until it becomes a community of like-minded people. Follow-up is hugely important. Always follow up with your team, with your community, listen to them, see what's working, what's not working. Learning, by learning you will teach, by teaching you will learn. It's very important to transfer the skills that you have to your community, so that they can also lead in other communities, or as a leader, you are not there, you know that your team can lead because they already have the skills they need to lead. Be specific about what you achieve. I think one of the problems of Thawra in Lebanon is that they didn't have one thing they wanted to achieve. They started with 1 or 3, and then saw 10 and more. It's very important when you're leading a team of individuals to a common goal, to have specific points you want to achieve, achievable at least. So yeah, it's important إنه يكون عندكم achievable, down to earth things that you want to achieve with your team. I want to end hunger, and I want to end food waste, but not really end. I mean, reduce as much. And if I want to be realistic, reduce amount of people who are going hungry, and reduce the amount of food going to waste. This is realistic, So people, yes, will be more encouraged to follow your lead when they see that what you're working on is that's achievable. It's not like خيالي. Partner with frontline communities. If what you're doing is already someone عم يحكي عنه, being active on social media, partner with those individuals. It's very hard in Lebanon to have fruitful partnerships because we have an issue of ego. Everyone wants to take credit. So even if it's a we kind of action, someone has to say, but I started it. This is very bad. one of the things I noticed about Lebanese organizations when they work together, they have a problem of me. So it's very important to work with like-minded people and to acknowledge the we in your work. Partner with older activists as well. Creating community doesn't mean that we all have to be the same age. Being like-minded doesn't mean I'm from the same gene or generation. It could be like I have the same beliefs or values with another person who could be 20 years older than you. So it's important also to listen to what others have to say, others from a different generation who might have faced similar crises to ours. Have hard conversation about equity and inclusion. It's very important when you want to create a community. Make it your case that everyone should be included, regardless of age. مش إنه oh yeah, everyone is welcome except if you are XYZ. It's very important to be inclusive if you're willing, if you're working on a solution that will elevate the community as a whole. You can't improve the health of a community without involving the whole of the community. So it's very important when you're helping people in need, like in FoodBlessed, we help Syrians, we have Lebanese, we help refugees, we help people with physical challenges, mental challenges, from the LGBTQ community. Everyone is part of migrant workers. We believe that if you want to end the problem of hunger, you have to address it on all levels. آخر نقطة, youth need mentors, not sages. So mentors are there to guide you. Sages بيعطوكم حكم, إنه بيسرقوكم قول ما بعرف شو قال مش بعرفني مرة إنه بلا 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 من مينها وحلوين ينحطوا على الحيطان وهيك اخبار بس على السوشيال ميديا. بس youth لانه they're still trying things out, going through new things, going through crises يمكن لأول مرة, especially a lot of young people هلا يمكن عم بحسوا قد ايه لبنان بأزمة من انه المدارس الأقساط ما كانوا فترة عم بيروحوا على المدارس. مش بس حكيوا على التلفزيون, they're actually living the crises. And it's important to have mentors, not sages. ما بيهمنا نعطي مواعظ قد ما إنه to lead by example. It's very important if you want to lead a group of people to start with yourselves. Getting used to the new normal. بعد الكرايسيس بتخف شوي, بيصير الواحد بيتعود على شيء اسمه new normal. لأنه هلا بالعالم new normal is always wearing a face mask versus before إنه no one would have imagined it. And a new normal suggests new processes, new strategies, sometimes a new culture altogether to emerge. Adjusting to the new normal both emotionally how we feel and cognitively the way we think may take a while, but it's your job as a leader leading in times of crisis to help your team recover and heal and adapt to the new normal. So once the most immediate and challenging aspects of the crisis are under control, then you start about thinking about other kinds of crises that you might experience. And this is not the first or the last. So what your team and you should be doing to prepare for these crises, what worked in the past and what did not work so well. Are there any preventative measures you can take to put in place? For FoodBlessed, for example, for a long time we used to cannot afford rent. Eventually last week we signed a contract to have our warehouse, our office, and our kitchen all in one place. Before, when we wanted to cook, someone would offer us their kitchen or space and then take that away. And also to do the food boxes, same. And this didn't always, it worked for us. We were able to do what we need to do. But there was always this thought, and one day this person اللي عطانا space will take it back. And this is what usually happens. But we always had a plan waiting, or we knew this day was coming. So always try to see what you can do to avoid this crisis. So for us, it was just if we could rent a place, and when we could, we went all for it because we knew at least this thing we don't have to worry about, and it makes what we do more sustainable. As a leader, you'll find yourself having to manage your way through and out of the crisis. You have to go through the crisis yourself. And one important point, I think I already mentioned it, don't wait for the next crisis to get yourself prepared. Principle 1 especially applies for Lebanon. Always assume the possibility of a crisis. Denial is the number one problem with crises. Therefore, continuous awareness of the possibility of a crisis is a key principle of crisis leadership. You have to assume and know the crisis will come back or there will be a new crisis. It's called assume the boom. So you have to always assume the possibility of crisis. بلبنان هذا الشيء مش صعب at all. لازم كلنا نحطه له موتو لبنان, assume the boom. And despite its simplicity, this is an important principle. You don't want to just manage a crisis when it is there. You want to be a crisis-proof organization or initiative or whatever you're trying to achieve. So becoming crisis-proof means that you are dealing with crisis becomes natural and everyday part of doing business throughout your organization or initiative. It means that crisis leadership is something that you have to already engage in naturally. Without even there being a crisis, you have to assume there will be a crisis. And crisis management is an everyday thing this year. It doesn't have to be something special or exceptional. It's just you assuming the worst will happen. There's another also quite practical reason for this is that you can't simply switch on your crisis leadership style when there is a crisis and switch them off when the crisis is over. Leadership doesn't work like that. Being a strong and effective leader means being strong and effective at all time, whether it's a crisis or whether it's not. And I think that's it for me. If you have any questions, خليني نشوف كيف برجع هيدي.
Thank you very much, Maya, for
You're welcome, Maya.
this amazing talk. Honestly, and it was very, very inspirational وكتير عطتنا من الاكسبيرينسز اللي انت مرقتي فيهم, من التجارب اللي انت مرقتي فيهم. حتى to be honest with you on a personal level, I followed you. I checked like all the success اللي انت كان عندك اياه since like many years ago, من ايام برنامج الزعيم, if you remember that. So thank you very much for sharing with us all of this experience and all of these tips for how you are acting as a leader in times of crisis, وكل الtips that you shared with us. Now we open floor for questions in case anyone has any question.
يعني هاني حطتني ميوت وأنا بدي أحكي. Thank you so much, Maya, for this very inspiring talk. Honestly, يمكن هيدا أول talk فيها عن جد tips and tricks to take into consideration. يعني أنت presentation تاعتك عملتيها مبكرة for the people who want now to build their community project and to know more and more about community building and what is the real meaning of being a leader in the community. ولقلك شيء بس هيك مايا on personal levels, أنا كمان I'm leading on a youth-led initiative بلبنان اسمها كفي بكفك. I don't know if you heard about كفي بكفك. It is an initiative to help and support families in need all over Lebanon. And we distribute food aid, medication, we cover education fees and so on. So بس كنت عم تحكي هيك أنا I'm relating your talk to what we are doing honestly in Lebanon since 1 year and a half for now. And it's really heartwarming to see إنه شباب لبنان بعدهم بدهم يشتغلوا للبنان, مش وقفوا شغل للبنان. فهو هون عندي سؤال مايا, إنه قد إيه الواحد فيه ضل صابر وعنده هيدي الموتيفيشن والويل إنه يكفي شغل مع هيك ظروف. يعني I follow you on your personal Instagram، وعرفت إنه بأكتوبر 14 وين كنت وكيف كنت عم بتعيشي الأزمة الرصاص وهيدا، لأنه I can relate it. نحن كنا تحت الرصاص رايحين على المطار. So tell me شو الموتيفيشن يعني why you are doing this? What's the main purpose? What's your mission, lifelong mission, Maya?
ليكي شو my lifelong mission, I always really my life motto is treat others the way you want to be treated. So I don't feel anyone should be treated unfairly or not in a just way. Social justice is very important, and for each person to have equal access to their rights. Right to food is one of the most basic rights ever يعني. and a lot of people محرومين منه، خصوصا بلبنان، انه فوق كل شيء كمان بدك تقلقي انه كيف بدك تاكلي، غير انه الكهرباء والمي وما في طرق مثل الخلق ومدارس مش مأمنة ومستشفيات. It's so many things to worry about. So my mission was انه انا بيسألوني ليه هيك، ما بعرف ليه انا I feel انه my life is not worth living if it's not spent in the service of others. Anything I can be of service to others, I'm always happy with. So be it FoodBlessed or otherwise. مش إنه إذا مش FoodBlessed ما بقى بتعاطى، بالعكس نحن حتى ب FoodBlessed we do cleanings, we do other أنشطة ما خصهم بfood أو food waste. كمان I've been volunteering since I've been 14. أنا 35 هلا. So volunteering from this age taught me so much about the importance of me as an individual, the difference I can make, especially هلا بلبنان وأنا we feel إنه hopeless، إنه as if we exist or not ما حدا فرق كتير بالبلد، لأنه البلد رايح. But that's not true، لأنه I always say impact is not measured in numbers, it's measured in the quality or the impact you create بحياة شخص واحد is as important as إذا بتغير 10 حياتات. يعني for me, I always tell my volunteers إنه sometimes just being there for someone makes a difference to them. Sometimes just sitting there مع حدا. يعني العالم كان عندنا مطاعم نحن مجانية قبل الكورونا، كان يجي بالنهار 600 شخص يتناول وجبة نحن محضرينها for free. So for a lot of them كان يقولوا لنا أكلكم كتير طيب، بس نحن ما بنجي كرمال الأكل. We come for the company. And this meant a lot to us because we knew إنه what we're doing هيدا الفود عم نقدمه أو الحصة الغذائية عم نقدمها ما راح تقضي على الجوع لهالعائلة، ومش إنه يعني هلا أوكي بتساعدهم شهر والشهر اللي بعده ما بيعرف شو هيعمل، بس هي هيدا اللي عم نحاول نقوله، إنه هيدي what we're preparing is with love and it's a token of love. It's us إنه trying to bring hope to the people we're helping. It's us giving volunteers the hope to know that what they do matters and it makes a difference in the lives of many, and they can see that difference بعيونهم. فرق ما you donate, which donating is very important. But for those who can't donate and want to be part of the change, we always say you can advocate, you can talk about the issues, and you can volunteer. And it's important whether you or anyone who's doing a youth-led initiative or organization or any organization that aims to provide or to achieve social change or environmental change, to focus on how to make community members part of it, part of the solution, not just the problem. Okay, في كتير عالم بيكتبوا زبالة، بس أنت through your organization, for example, you're giving also people the tools to fight that, and they can also be part of the solution, not just the problem. So إذا أهلي ما بيهمهم الأمر وبيكبوا، أنا في يكون هذا الشخص اللي بيقول لهم لا، اللي بلم من ورا العالم اللي بيكبوا، اللي واعي عن الموضوع. Leading by example is very important, and having an inspirational team. يعني أنا as much as I say everything I did, yes, eventually بيقولوا Maya Terro bravo هيك. I always say it's not Maya Terro, it's Maya Terro and the team. It's FoodBlessed, the Hunger Heroes. كلهم يعني ما في شيء اسمه I or me. It's a we effort, and we always have to give credit to our team members because we fall together. مش when we rise, it's me, and when we fall, it's we. It's always we. We fall together and we rise together. And this is key. For me, when I feel down, when I feel hopeless, خلاص مش عم بعمل, I could be having a normal life, job, برجع بطلع ب my team how empowering what they do is. من ورا FoodBlessed, the opportunities I was able to give back to them, to give to their community, the people we help. And I say a million times, I don't want a normal life at all. You know, so many people have normal lives. I'm blessed and grateful, should always be grateful that I don't have a normal life. And nothing worth it is ever easy. So it's always hard. The right things are always hard. They're not the easy decisions. And as long as you believe in yourself and you have at least one person who believes in you, this is very important to keep going. And I think my volunteers or Hunger Heroes, they believe in me. And even when I feel like quitting, I'm not just quitting on myself, I'm quitting on them. So, well, okay, and I can't disappoint Maya, ما بتفرق معي, بس I can't disappoint the team. So I'm gonna do it for the team. And every time, well, I'm lucky and I have an amazing team, because they remind me of why I'm here and of why I started FoodBlessed. Because it's not just an organization, it's a community. And together we're so much stronger. يعني yes, 9 years ما بتخيل رح يصير هون, أو حتى number of meals that we're able to serve. لأنه when we started, everyone made fun of me إنه شو هاي جمعية كلها volunteers, بحياتنا مش سامعين بهيك جمعية. And we proved them wrong. Yes, you can do it. It is not impossible. It's harder. You take more time تقنع العالم to believe in what you're doing, to support you, but it is not impossible. It's just harder to achieve. And by, يعني, you get there. And what is success? يعني, in the end, success is the mark that you leave behind you. So even if you change one life, even if you have one person, in my opinion, that was a life worth living. Yeah, being there for someone.
Wow.
It's not about money. It's not about house. It's not about cars.
Very inspiring.
Society talks about success, because I swear, and I was one of those people who used to compare myself to my classmates, right? Seeing they have everything I didn't, it just made me feel like a failure. But that is as far as can be from the truth. Never compare yourself to others. Money is never a measurement of your worth, of your achievements in life. It's the lives that you touch and you change. And the hardest thing in the world, هلا وبعدين وقبل, is being true to who you are. So never let anyone tell you who you could or should be, because you know yourself, and always know that with hard work you will reach your full potential. And it's a long process. منا سهلة. It's not an easy thing. You read a book and you become a leader. لا. And it's the thing that we hate most, the pain, the sufferings, the things that بيخلونا want to just يا ريتني بموت ولا بعيش هالاشياء. هولي are the things that will make you stronger. And yes, Lebanon is بلد معفن, بس هيدا البلد يبني leaders the hard way, because when you don't have access to your basic rights, it means you have to fight every day for these rights. And that makes you a fighter and a hero, in my opinion, and a leader. بلا ما يكون حدا عم بيقول عنكم leader, because you're leading your own lives, and this is the most important path that you should be on. It's the path of achieving your full potential as a person.
This is very هيك insightful Maya, and very inspiring. وحتى كان بدي اقول لك شيء انه the support and the help and all the work that you are doing هو مش بس helping the people ومش بس reducing the food waste, it's even helping the volunteers on a personal level. يعني I have my friends volunteering مع FoodBlessed, وما في مرة نظهر فيها إلا ما بيكونوا عم بيخبروني عن their experience ب FoodBlessed. عم بيخبرونا قد ايه هن محمسين انه they are making impact as well. the support وكل الwork that you are doing is helping يعني on different levels. كان في عنا بالchat 2 questions from Tala and Ryan. في Tala was asking انه what's your advice to all the community service startups in planning and creating their business plan to be sustainable?
Mm. And for me, although a lot of the advice, financially to be sustainable, you have to be at first financially sustainable, but it's very hard. يعني هلا اللي عم يعملوا startups وinitiative, it's probably one of the hardest times. يعني إذا كانت صعبة بوقتنا هلا عندكم يعني يعني respect لكل حدا عم بيحاول يعمل هالشيء. بدي أقول لكم شغلة, if all the funds are going somewhere, مثلا أنا دايما كان في funds going to education, women empowerment, بس ما حدا كان بهمه food waste مثلا, أو إذا hunger بس إنه hunger بس refugees مش Lebanese communities. Don't let what you do be defined by where the funds are going. If you find there is a need, وبتقنعوا حدا enough that there is a need for this and the funds are not going enough على هيدا الشيء, you will get the funds you need. But always plan, if I don't have a fund, how can I keep this going? يعني again, plan A, B, C. Being sustainable for me, in my opinion, is having a team that you can rely on. It's very important. And يمكن يكون عندكم كل resources بالحياة والfunding, but you don't have functional team, or is a team بطل فيك تدفعي لهم salaries, بيقولوا لك سوري أنا ماني مضطر أعمل هالشيء, خلص بفلوا, you lose your sustainability. So sustainability is in human capital, not just by financial capital. Always remember that.
This is a very important point to focus on. إنه دايما ما نفكر بالsustainability in terms of financials. حتى قليل يمكن نكون عم نفكر فيها in terms of a human. But it's really important to think about it this way.
We always think of the 3 R's, especially now more than ever. Reuse, recycle, reduce. يعني هول in a term that بينطبق على الحياة, مش بس plastic.
صح. We have other question from Paula. You mentioned the importance of having a mentor. Who do you look up to or consider your mentor?
أنا دايما يسألوني who's my role model وبيضحكوا علي, بس it's Mulan. Mulan is a Disney character. أنا وقت حضرتها I think I was 12 maybe. It was the first movie بحضره في السينما. So بابا أخذنا على بيروت لنحضره. مولان كتير أثرت فيه لأنه it was the story of a girl بيا ما عنده غيرها, والجيش الصيني بده كل الصبيان. So بما إنه هو ما عنده صبيان, هو بده يروح, هو ختيار. فمولان to help her dad, she disguised herself as a man, as a guy, وراحت على الجيش. And not only was she able to compete with the men there, she outperformed them. The whole idea from the movie is that it's about how when you believe in yourself, whether being a man or a woman, you will achieve the what people think is unachievable for you. Because as a lady, Mulan should have been staying home with Fatisha. Instead, she went and fought with the Chinese army. When they found out that she was a girl, but then they got accustomed to that. Okay, مش غلط إنه girl فيها تكون part of the army. She was the first in the army. So it's about breaking stereotypes, about breaking rules. It's about sometimes breaking even your parents' wishes. لأنه your parents' wishes was for her to stay and get married. This is بينطبق كتير على الكالتشر بلبنان عنا, يعني كتير إنه البنت شو لازم تكون وتعمل شو الصبي, وإذا الصبي عمل عادي, إذا البنت لا. So for me, it was important لإلي إنه in life, لأنه أنا كمان أكبر وحدة من إخواتي, my parents always wanted a boy, فجابوا 4 بنات. So مش بس I wanted to be as equal as the men, but also better, because I don't believe in gender roles as much as they're just a cultural thing. I think what a man can achieve, a woman can achieve even better if she wants to do that. In my life I use it إنه بحس دايما حدا بيقول لي ما فيكي, بيكون it's them saying إنه go do it.
This is very true, Maya. I guess we don't have any more questions بالchat. I do have a personal question from my side. Would you consider participating in the political life again? تترشح يمكن للانتخابات النيابية هلا اللي جاي؟
والله a lot of people عم يسألوني. أنا I'd love to صراحة. It's just a matter of financial. يعني before, لأنه I won the show, my prize was يدفعوا لي my campaign. So for me, إنه I can pay إنه أترشح, but for the campaign I don't know. Again, for me, I'm someone who likes to plan. So if I don't have a plan, I wouldn't say yes or no. I would say I don't know. عن جد I don't know. وهلا اصلا بلبنان تعلمت من قبل لانه انا I won the program 2013 من وقت ما ربحت لصار الانتخابات ب 2018 قطع 5 سنين تأجل الانتخابات 3 مرات. So بتصير انه اوكي is it worth يعني a lot of people بيقولوا لي مايا ليه منك عم تنزل تطلع تي في تحكي سياسه وهيك. Because again, politics is not what Lebanese politicians claim it to be. It's not تطلع على التي في وتعطي بيان وتنزل على مظاهرة وتتصور وهيدا. Politics to me is actively changing the social reality of your country or community. So أنا بحس I'm doing so much better or more social change through FoodBlessed. And if I have the opportunity to run, I will definitely run. I just hope people would be able to do the right choices. لأنه last time only 50% of the Lebanese population voted. يعني نص الشعب ما حتى عذب حاله ونزل ينتخب. And again هيدا لأنه they were hopeless, they feeling hopeless. إنه شو ما أعمل ما حيتغير. I kept saying really إنه sometimes if it's a truth يعني إذا كلنا بنقول أنا صوتي شو رح يغير وما بصوت وعندك 50% قرروا ما يصوتوا يعطيك العافية يعني إنه شو عملنا. فلا بالعكس نزلوا صوتوا. I'm pretty sure at least one person رح يكون بيمثلكم وإذا ما بيمثلكم انزلوا أنتوا لأنه one of the major reasons أنا اللي نزلت على الانتخابات was because I was looking and couldn't find حدا بالمجلس النيابي بيمثلني أو بيشبهني بأفكاري أو بشكله حتى أو بالجنريشن تبعي. So I was like okay in life أنا إذا ما حدا عم بيعملها I don't go like someone dude حدا كب شي على الأرض ما بقول له لمها. أوقات أنا بروح لمها لأنه مش رح أنطرك تستوعب إنه لازم تلمها بلمها وبشيلها. Same thing in politics, but sometimes if you think that there needs to be a change no one is doing that change or representing that change, go do it yourself. يعني أنا when I had the chance I ran for politics for parliament and if I have the chance again I will. Why not يعني بالعكس. Again trying is half the battle. By just trying it's sometimes enough. You don't have to win.
Sure. Actually, I asked this question because we need like leaders like you, and we need people in the parliament who give hope and who make actually change like what you are doing. Thank you very much, Maya, again.
You're welcome.
For your time and for this amazing talk. It was really amazing.
Maya, thank you a lot.
Thank you guys. Thank you for all the hearts. I'm sure.
Amazing, Maya. Amazing.
Maya,
thank you very much, Maya.
You're welcome.
Recording معي definitely, so that if you want to share it with your network, Hani, please share it with Maya as soon as possible. I want to thank everyone, advisory board members, for being so active, for being with us. Yeah, looking forward, Maya, for further collaboration. Best of luck. Thank you so much.
You too, Nadine, with your initiative. واحكيلي على زلمة على فكرة.
We should collaborate. Like we should collaborate very soon, inshallah.
Definitely.
Thank you a lot. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Have a good evening, guys. Stay hopeful.
Bye.
Have a good evening, a nice weekend. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.